Hey guys, I hope you're well. In today's video, I'll show you how to initiate and carry out pricing related changes within a mobile network operator when you work as a pricing manager or propositions manager. Generally, you have to follow a governance process to get any pricing changes approved. I'll tell you more about product governance in a separate video because there's a lot to it, but in this video, I'll show you what steps you need to take to get any pricing changes approved through the board and which stakeholders to work with to get that sorted. In this video, we'll be looking at the mobile tariffs because that is an area within a mobile network operator where pricing changes are frequent and you're either changing the prices all the time or coming up with new tariffs with new prices. Generally, the job titles that involve mobile tariff pricing work are propositions manager, pricing manager, or pricing and propositions manager. So these are the jobs within a mobile network operator that usually involve pricing work. As a product manager within a large mobile network operator, usually you don't get directly involved in pricing, but I believe it's important to get that experience, even if it means just sitting down with your propositions team so you can learn how pricing is done. Within large multinational mobile network operators, you generally have two entities, group entity and local entity. Group is the overarching entity, and local entities are local mobile network operators. For example, with Vodafone, you have Vodafone Group as a central entity headquartered in the UK, but then you also have Vodafone UK, Vodafone Germany, Vodafone Ireland, etc. as local companies or operating companies, OpCos. Similarly, with Deutsche Telekom, you have Deutsche Telekom Group in Germany, but you also have T-Mobile Germany, T-Mobile US, T-Mobile Netherlands, etc. as local companies. Another example is Telefonica, which is headquartered in Spain, but local companies exist within different countries. Local companies or local entities are the ones who do the pricing for mobile tariffs because they are the ones who know the market. They are the ones who do the research, and they are the ones who come up with the offering that goes out to the customers in those local markets. As discussed in the previous video, link right over here, mobile tariffs can be broken down into two: airtime and device plan. Airtime is your voice minutes, texts, and data, so the mobile service itself, and the device plan is the credit agreement for your phone or other device like tablet or router, etc. The mobile tariffs that only sell airtime are called SIM-only or SIMO tariffs. Coming back to the device plan. The device plan is a credit agreement just like any loan, and customers pay per month depending on the price of the device or phone. Mobile operators usually work with partners to get the devices, and the price list is updated regularly. In your company, if you work for a local mobile network operator or local MVNO, mobile virtual network operator, there may be teams specifically looking after the device plans, so you need to find those people in your company. As a pricing or propositions manager within a mobile network operator, you will be made aware of the pricing strategy around how you price the mobile tariffs. For example, do you sell devices on credit agreement as a separate something, or do you include that in the tariff? Separate means you price the airtime only and keep the device agreement separate from that. So when a customer buys a mobile subscription, the prices you set are in the pricing tool as the airtime prices, and the device prices may be picked up from a separate database based on the price list from your partner. Now let's talk about the competition part that'll keep you busy. The device prices are based on the price list you get from your partner company, so that price may be similar to what your competitors might be getting because they may be working with the same partners. Of course, there may be some variations in the pricing, depending on how hard your procurement team has negotiated the prices with the partner. So you as a pricing manager of mobile tariffs do not have to worry about that directly because you are the recipient of that list from your procurement team, and you can't change that list. For you, it is what it is, so just take it as is and don't worry too much about it. What you do need to worry about, though, is the airtime tariffs and the overall tariff prices that are a combination of airtime and device prices. So you need to make adjustments to the airtime prices to make sure that your SIM-only tariffs as well as tariffs that include devices look competitive against the competition. Your key lever is the airtime, so you need to make adjustments to that to make that look competitive. And that is the challenge because you have to keep updating the prices to deal with increasing competition. The network cost of delivering the airtime and the margin you must achieve are the key factors that your finance team will be pushing you on. Cell phone subscriptions have now become a commodity. There are over 8 billion mobile phone subscriptions, so people have a good idea when they're getting a good price, and of course also when someone is trying to rip them off. People know it because they have a good idea of the market they live in, and they know what other service providers are charging, which means they're doing a basic competitor analysis themselves to know who is giving them the same value for what price. So if we turn this around for you as a pricing or propositions manager, it means that when you're hired by a mobile service provider to do the pricing for mobile tariffs, the first thing you will do is a competitor analysis to see where your employer's pricing or your mobile operator's pricing stands compared to the others. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, it doesn't sound very difficult, does it? Anyone can do it, right? Well, here's the challenge. Customers don't want to pay a lot of money for mobile services because they can buy the phone from anywhere, and for the airtime, they have quite a few options. So, as a pricing manager, you will have a lot of pressure from your sales teams to keep your prices competitive. But at the same time, you'll also have pressure from finance teams to keep the prices profitable while ensuring your revenues and sales volumes are going up. What you don't want to do is to become a sandwich between your sales and finance teams. Otherwise, you can probably end up like, this salmon, you see? Completely crushed, flattened, and smoked with cheese on top. Just so you don't become a sandwich between your sales and finance teams, let me give you some metrics to help you lead the way so that you can, de-sandwichize yourself. The metrics are volumes, revenues, and ARPU. ARPU means average revenue per user. If you can master these domains, your sales and finance teams will love you, not as a sandwich, but as a business owner, so that you can lead the way to create pricing models and, of course, the prices. Just to be clear, the pricing model will not just come from you, but with help from your finance teams. Now, what do we need to do with these metrics to make sure we are going in the right direction? Volumes and revenues are simple. Volume is a sales volume, which means the number of subscribers buying your service. The higher, the better. You get the current volume numbers from your finance team or sales finance team, depending on your organizational structure, but any future projections, which are targets, you can get from your sales teams. The next one is revenue, which means the money you're making from your subscribers. Again, the higher the better, and this one you get from your finance team. The last one is the tricky one, ARPU. ARPU stands for average revenue per user. It's the monthly average revenue you get from each subscriber. The calculation is simple. It's just the annual revenue divided by subscribers divided by 12 months, so you get a monthly number like, for example, £10 per month. It means that you, as a mobile service provider, are making £10 per month, as an example, from each subscriber from a specific tariff. Now, getting hold of this information in a large mobile network operator is not so simple. In a large mobile operator, where they sell tons of mobile tariffs for residential and business customers, and in addition sell devices and software like Office 365, antivirus, and this, that, and more, it becomes hard for you to get hold of the ARPU coming from a specific group of tariffs. Now, this is where your finance team can help, but you need to know what you're looking for. For example, if I am working as a pricing manager for small and medium businesses for a local mobile network operator, I will have a list of mobile tariffs available to me that are sold to small and medium businesses. It may as well be that I only need information on tariffs that are sold to medium-sized businesses. In that case, I'll need to create a list of those tariffs and work with my finance team or sales finance team, depending on organizational structure, to get hold of the sales data for these tariffs in a given year and then calculate ARPU based on that. And of course, I'll ask the finance team to send me that Excel so that I can plug that into my pricing model. Now, the challenge is that when you reduce the ARPU, the revenues in total will go down. That's just mathematics. When the ARPU goes down, your finance teams will question you. Why is the ARPU going down? Because that's not the desired position for anyone. So, what are you going to do? Well, if you deal with the competition by reducing the prices, but you reduce the prices in such a way that the total volumes and total revenues are going up, even if the ARPU is going down slightly, your finance team will be in a position to support you. Why? Because you're proposing something that can increase revenues and the number of customers. Now, just to be clear, the finance team don't have to support you when you're proposing something that can reduce the ARPU, but if you have convincing evidence for the business that the competition is offering lower prices, then you're in a strong position to get what you want, which is to get your proposed prices approved. Let's use an example to understand this concept. So let's say you currently have the following tariffs. Let's have a look on the screen. And let's say the competition is offering this. The first thing you have to do is to determine the pricing principle. And how do you do that? As a pricing or propositions manager, you need to know how your company is positioned against the competition. For example, are you a low-cost service provider, or are you one of the best network service providers who can demand higher prices? Let's assume in this example that your company is somewhere between competitor A and B in terms of network quality, and let's assume that C is, well, not very good, and that's why they're cheap. Yeah? So C is cheap, and A and B are good, and your company is in between. In that case, your pricing principle would be to, or could be, to make your tariff prices look highly competitive compared to competitor A, which is the best one. And even if the prices are slightly less competitive than B, it's not a big deal. Also, you don't have to worry so much about competitor C, but you still want your prices to be in a range where your prices offer better overall value than competitor C. So that's the game you're playing, okay? Value for money. When you price your tariffs, your finance team can help you build a model that takes into consideration the current prices and the new proposed prices, and then does revenue, ARPU, and volume calculations for both of them, so both prices. You can then summarize all that, including the pricing principle, into some slides, depending on the governance template your company follows. Now, whatever governance process you need to go through, the main thing is for you to sit down with your finance and sales teams before you go into any governance meeting. You need to agree with your finance team on revenues and ARPU before you go into any governance meeting. And you'll also need to sit down with your sales team to back you up on the projected sales volumes with the new prices. And why would they back you up on that? What's in it for them? Well, they have to sell the tariff, so of course they'll support you because that is linked to their commissions. One more thing I would like to mention here is something called a tariff mix. A tariff mix is a very important table, and it tells you how many subscribers are buying which tariff. It looks something like this. The tariff mix tells you which tariffs are most in demand. Here in this example, we can see that the 20 and 30 GB tariffs are the most popular, followed by the 10 GB and 40 GB tariffs. So people are paying £20 and £30 mostly for our tariffs. For the new proposed pricing, if we price our tariffs such that we target the 20 and 30 GB tariffs and then make them slightly more competitive than today, and if we can offer a similar tariff for £40 to £41, just like the competition, we would be in a position to improve our chances of selling more. So let's go with something like this. It is likely that the tariff mix might change slightly because we are offering higher value for £41 than we did earlier, as we're increasing the price by £1 and yet offering 10 GB more data, so a lot more value for just £1 extra. We're also making the 20 and 30 GB tariffs more competitive, so it is possible that the mix improves in favor of these three tariffs. Once you have successfully completed the governance process and secured a go decision, you need to build the tariffs. So first, inform all the key colleagues in sales, delivery, and finance about the outcome of the tariff approvals and timelines. And then work with your delivery teams or platform teams to build the approved tariffs in the relevant platforms and set the go-live dates in alignment with the sales team. Now you have to remember that learning how to price tariffs can take time, and it is possible to be intimidated by hundreds of rows and dozens of columns in multiple spreadsheets in the beginning. But once you get the hang of it, it gets easier and even becomes fun. I'm not kidding. If you want to learn more, you can contact me via LinkedIn and I'll be happy to advise you. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe because I'm posting new videos all the time.